Let's start it up. All right, so I've had a few people ask me about how I launch the Audi, because sometimes I can get some pretty good starts. And so I decided, since this week the touring car races and the Michelin Pilot races are both at Laguna Seca, which I've already done a track guide for, and I don't really think I'm gonna easily do a better one. So I figured, hey, let's make a video on this. If you're watching this at this week, there'll be a link here for that track guide. And if you're watching this way off in the future, I've got track guides for the Audi TCR circa early season 1 and 2 2022, and we'll see how long it goes for. But anyway, yeah. This is just gonna be an explainer on how I do the launch. I think I'm okay at it. Probably not the best, not the worst, and there's probably other ways to do it. I imagine you can use a handbrake. I don't have a handbrake, so this is just kind of how I do it. I set up a bunch of AI races to kind of practice against or demonstrate against. And there's like 3 or 4 of them with me in different grid positions, kind of showing with some of the other cars, just kind of randomly whichever car we ended up lined up against. And then I did some with just the Audis, because the Audi's pretty powerful as far as the launch is concerned. The trade-off is that you can't really use first and second gear in most situations. They're not super useful. But yeah, it's a little bit different on launching because it doesn't have a clutch. So yeah, we'll just fade into the first one, and then we'll go through those, and then I'll show you how I set up these AI sessions. So if you want to practice your launches in various cars, it's a way to do it. Anyway, here we go.
B2, the track temp is 79, the air temp is 75 Fahrenheit. 3 laps. Okay, Josh, get ready. Green, let's go, let's go.
So in this AI race, I set it up. I don't know how to set like where the other people are gridded at, but you can set where you grid in an AI race. So I'm trying to put myself in some awkward positions in doing this. I put myself at second here, and we're gonna hop in the cockpit and kind of show you slowly kind of what I do. Again, I don't know if this is the perfect way to do it. The AI kind of does their own thing. They're kind of revving their engines all over the place, and I think slipping the clutch to kind of get things going. I try and like hit about 10, 12, 15% throttle, and I use the overlay to kind of make sure I'm at that place. All right, so I hold it there, watch the lights, and then as soon as the green hits, I pop it into first. Right, and then what I do is I slowly feed the throttle in just a little bit until, and like just going off the wheel spin, we're trying to keep the wheel spin from happening. I probably could have done that a little bit more smoothly. We're gonna try a couple more. We're just feeding it in kind of as we go, trying to keep it at the limit of wheel spin. See, you can hear we got some wheel spin going, so it's not the best, but this is somewhat like, I'm kind of used to this. If I'm on the front, this is kind of the starts we get, especially when we've got the other cars on the grid with us. The Audi gearing is pretty powerful, which the trade-off is you can't really use gears 1 or 2 in that many spots, but we're trying to get up to, we're kind of feathering the throttle and short shifting until we get to third. We didn't really short shift there, but once we get to third, we're gonna pretty much put the power all the way down, and by that time we've got a fairly good gap on the next car. You will notice the next Audi in this grid, like it assigns the other positions randomly, so I couldn't put an Audi next to me. I'm gonna try and do a few more of these and see if I can get one where I've got an Audi next to me and see if like my method beats the AI. The AI is the best marker, but I don't want to be. I want to be able to do these rapidly enough, and signing up for a bunch of races, having to do a whole race is not really conducive to making this video. Anyway, you can see that he gets a really good launch on the car in front of him too. He just can't do anything. It's that Hyundai bogged down. Hyundais are about the same speed-wise, but he got slowed up by that. So we were able to get clear. So yeah, so that's that one. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do a few of these, and we'll show you the next one.
P2, the track temp is 122. The air temp is 78 Fahrenheit. 3 laps. Get ready. Green, green, green. Left side. He's still there. Clear left.
All right, so in this one, I've set up the field to be all Audis, since we know the Audi has a stronger launch than the other TCRs. So I've got myself in second position here, and I think I do get a little bit better launch than the P1 car and the other cars behind. So I again, we're just, you know, get the throttle rev to 10%, and as we go, we wait for the lights to hit the green, and then we rev up to where the wheels start to spin. We that not full throttle. Then as we get grip, then we go full throttle. So like, this is hard to explain. It's kind of a feel thing. In your ears. But yeah, as soon as the wheels kind of start to break loose, I kind of pop it into the next gear. I used to be even better at this, I think. I think we did all right. But yeah, we go pop into the external camera, and then just, you know, go as you normally would, accelerating, wind it up. Yeah, and we get a decent gain on this guy. Like the big thing is, like, some people are used to launching cars from standing starts that have clutches, like the Porsche Cup, or like a lot of the Formula cars. This one doesn't have one. It's a DSG transmission, so there's no clutch. I think like you're kind of meant to use the brakes, or the handbrake to launch it, but I don't have one of those, so this is what I do. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. We'll do another one where we start from first and see what kind of gap we can put on without, you know, somebody being ahead of us. So we'll be back with that.
The track temp is 119. The air temp is 78 Fahrenheit. Pole position. All right, Josh, are you ready? Watch for the lights. Go, go, go.
Okay, so we did another one here where we're starting out in first place against the same AIs. I don't think it's the same AI that's in P2 that was in P1 before, but we're just demonstrating here. So again, I don't remember having my wheel cocked a little bit that way, but it's probably just my brain. I know we got to turn. Anyway, as always, I tried to be more mindful of, like, it's like 15% is probably too much at the beginning. Like 10% throttle is probably the best. But yeah, just popping it into first, trying to keep the wheel spin to a minimum, and short shifting. It's kind of what we do here. So I kind of wish we could have the sound as we go through in slow motion. But yeah, so yeah, first just pop it in right as soon as you see the first green light. Second, and we're off to and going. So like once you kind of catch your throttle or catch your traction in second gear, just flat foot. It's the first gear that's kind of the tough, I think. But yeah, we gapped the second place one pretty hard. Let's go to far chase here, and I'm not the best at this by any means. But I think I'm decent. So all that wheel spin, not great. Feels like when you've got that mirror going, it feels a lot bigger than maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of how that's the basic philosophy on how I do it. And yeah, I'll go through. I'll show you how I set up these AI races next. To kind of, if you want to practice against some AI opponents, you can do that too. Okay, so to make our AI race that we're going to practice our launches in, we need a opponent roster. I don't need one, but I made a few. So to do that, you just create a roster in the AI, name it what you want to name it, and just for the same thing they did for the TCR. You can play with the skill levels and stuff. I didn't. I just searched TCR. Just filters it down to anything that has TCR. The Veloster is not in here. I just added like 3 Audis, 3 Hondas. Scroll down a little bit here to get it going. And these are kind of just randomly setting up the skill levels. Like I said, you can go in and change that after the fact if you want to. 3 of the Elantras, and then we'll go back in. We'll grab the Veloster. Yeah, didn't know how you spelled that off the top of my head. 2, 3, and then if we wanted to, we could adjust people's, skill levels. This guy, super. And you can read on what each of these things do, like optimism, optimism. Not a word I thought I was going to stumble over. Driver's confidence or overconfidence in their skill. Optimism makes a driver quicker but more error prone. And just. Yeah, 90 years old. Anyway, so you can do that, and then you just, if you want to use it, you've got to save it. But I've already made a TCR one, so I'm gonna close this. Discard changes, and then to set up the race like I did, pick your track. Since races this week are going to be at Laguna Seca, I chose that track. We want a standing start because that's how the Audi or the TCR races go. And since we're just practicing our launch, we don't really care much about this stuff. Pick your car. We're practicing for the Audi. You could do this for whatever car you want to practice launches in. And for the weather, I picked partly cloudy. It's kind of what I defaulted to. I was trying to get a realistic track temp. You can, if you lower the ambient temperature, that'll bring it down, but more the cloudy. The sun's gonna affect the track temp more than anything. To choose our starting position, you can set up a practice if you want. I just wanted to jump right in to the launch, so turn that off, turn qualifying off, turn the race. We need a race. Turn the race. It'll only 3 laps is the minimum. is what I was trying to say there. And then you can choose your grid position. So if you want to start like practice, like, hey, what's it gonna be like if I start in the back? What's it gonna be like if I start in the middle? You can do it that way. And if you didn't, this is also where we choose our roster. So we can choose our roster there, or we can choose, you know, touring cars, and it will just pick touring cars because that matches our class that we had there. And you can choose the skill spread here. You just want, you know, super fast dudes. So you can do it that way. And anything else that changed? Oh yeah, time of day affects track temp too. It's like at noon, early afternoon is going to be hotter versus, you know, late afternoon it starts to cool off, whatnot. So that's how we do that. Hit continue, bring this up, hit your race button, and you're in. It'll start off on the grid wherever you set yourself. So that's how you do that. All right, so there you have it. Hopefully that's useful to some folks. Like I said, this is just how I do it. I'm not saying it's the best or only way to do it. It's just my method. And there's probably some room for improvement there. And yeah. If there's any other technique you'd like me to make a video about, you know, leave a comment down below. And you know, thumbs up help, subs help. Thumbs down if you think this is a bad video and I shouldn't make it. But yeah, I race on twitch.tv/thepiltdownman if you want to watch along live. And yeah, till next time. Bye. Okay, so to make blah 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 blah.